Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Life Builder, where we build life together. Last week I was talking about just what to expect from this channel moving forward and some health things. And I talked about wanting to share some of my health journey with you. And so today that's kind of what we're going to talk about for the next 20 minutes or so. It's really just going to be why I started a health journey, what that process has looked like so far. Like I mentioned in one of my other videos, the goal this year is on this channel to build life through health and wellness. And so that just may mean that we're looking at a bunch of different ways of doing that. And I thought the best way to start would just be sharing some of my story first, just so you kind of have an idea of what I've been walking through and everything. So I'm going to kind of back up a little farther. Growing up as a young girl, I grew up very poor. And so I grew up in California, Northern California, and I have two older brothers that I grew up with, two brothers, an older and a younger. I'm in the middle. And we just grew up very poor. And so part of it was my family was mixed. My dad was black and my mom was white. And there were a few times in our life because of racial things that our home, we had to move out or different things like that happened, which is a whole different story that maybe I'll share some other time when we talk about building life together. But with that, just the journey that my family went on, I didn't learn a lot about health, wellness, nutrition. We kind of just survived. And in surviving, I remember telling my kids this once, you just ate whatever was given to you when you got it, because you didn't always know what you're going to have. And my dad was a chef and he was a very good cook. And when we had money, we had great meals. And looking back, we probably had better meals then, being poorer, than we have now with some of the options that are available to us with fast food and processed things and all that. So, but I just grew up poor. So I didn't have any understanding of what it looked like to have a balanced, healthy meal. I didn't even, you're taught like the food things in school, but even that was kind of whatever. It wasn't something that I ever focused on. And I also was an athlete. And so because I played sports, I played softball, volleyball, and soccer from the time I was little, in elementary school up into part of my high school years. And so I played a lot of sports and was very active. And so because of that, even though I didn't know much about nutrition and health, I kind of ate whatever I want. But because I was walking everywhere, playing sports, doing stuff, I just burned a lot of the garbage that I ate, but I just didn't learn. And the other thing is I was always kind of a big girl, so I was never on the slender side of things. I've never been that way, and it's never bothered me either. I'm totally fine with that. And being overweight, even in high school, was never really a thing for me. I just always was a bigger girl, and I was fine with that. But because I didn't know nutrition and health as I became an adult, there was a lot of things I needed to learn. And so when I had my first son, I have 5 boys and I've been married for 27 years. And when I had my first son, my doctor really wasn't very concerned about me losing weight because I was so overweight to begin with, which wasn't a lot, but I was significantly enough to where losing weight wasn't a big deal for me, just to kind of give you an idea of where my body was. And I got married at 19 and had my first son at 19. So I was still very young in this whole process. But that kind of started me on a journey of wanting to get healthy. In the beginning, like around 11 or 12 years old, I started having really bad migraine headaches. And those lasted all the way into adulthood until I started making some significant changes in my nutrition and hydration. I suffered with migraines, and they would take me out for days sometimes, and I couldn't see, I would be throwing up, everything hurt, lights on, all that stuff. So with all of that, I really just didn't know a lot of things, but because I was having all these migraines, I wanted to figure out how to get those under control. And the medications that they wanted me to take, my body couldn't handle them. I didn't like them. I've never been great on medications. And so that didn't really feel like much of an option for me. But I needed something because they were getting pretty bad to where as my kids got older, fast forward through the years, they would know what to do if I was feeling sick. If I had a migraine, who was gonna make dinner, get the house cold, turn the lights down, don't bother mom. And I just really didn't want my family to live that way. So I really wanted to learn how to get healthy, which put me on this whole process of trying multiple diets of everything you could think of. And so after my third son, So my dad had passed away after my second son was born, a few months after he was born, which was a whole another thing because of health issues. And fast forward about 10 years later, my mom passed away, both very, very young. That also was kind of a pivotal thing for me to be like, I need to figure out what's going on in my health because I want to live a long time for my 5 children. And so by the time my mom passed away, I had 5. But before I had my 4th son, after I had my 3rd son, I needed something. And so I just started looking at all kinds of things. I did Weight Watchers for a while and it helped. And here's the thing I would tell people, I would lose 50 pounds and gain it back. That was kind of my thing over and over and over again for years. So then I tried like a vegetarian, vegan, whole diet for a year where we cut out all meats, all dairy, cheese, anything like that. So only did fruits and vegetables and whole grain things, and which was kind of funny because I grew up in a dairy town, and so that wasn't necessarily received very well to like cut out all dairy and stuff. But we did that for a while with my kids, and then I tried paleo for a little bit, just because I'm like, I wanted something more balanced, and I just didn't know what nutrition was like, and I wanted to find balanced ways, and I was just tired of yo-yo dieting. I tried different pills. There's that one, I can't remember the name of it, but I tried that pill for a long time. Man, it starts with an A. Oh, I'll probably remember it after I'm done with this. This is what always happens. But anyway, so I tried different weight loss pills and all kinds of things. And I worked out a lot because I like being physical and I like being active. And so I would work out and do stuff too, which was great, but it still never got me where I wanted to be. And so all these years I tried to teach my kids things, and we gradually started making changes. I started cutting out processed foods. I really started looking at, I wanted to be on a nutrition program or plan that taught me how to create healthy, balanced meals for my family, not these quick throw it together out of a can or whatever. And I thought I was feeding my family well because I was making a lot of stuff from home, but not from scratch. And still a lot of stuff had processed things in it. And so it just took me on this very long journey and to really figure out, one, for my own body, how to stop having these migraine headaches. That was my big thing. My weight, I could care less about. It never stopped me. I did what I wanted to do, no matter what size I was. I'd run and play and get up and down with the boys and just do whatever I needed to do. But the other stuff was really starting to affect me. So I going through this process, sorry, one of my lights went out too. It's just gonna be one of those kind of videos that just is the way that it is. So growing up, working on, after having all my kids and everything, trying to figure out how to get healthy and stay healthy and be healthy, I was just really tired of yo-yo dieting and trying all these different fads and trends that were going on. And so I really wanted to learn how to create healthy meals for myself and my family. I really wanted to get rid of my migraines. And I actually wanted to start losing some weight and just feeling better in my body, because it was starting as I was getting older and after having 5 kids, really starting to hurt. And so I kind of wanted to learn all that stuff, which set me on a journey. Before I turned 40, I had a goal that I wanted to lose 50 to 75 pounds, big range. I'd lost 50 multiple times up and down, but within 6 months, 8 months, I would gain it all back. I would lose it pretty quick, but then I'd gain it all back after I'd lost it. And so I really was like, I want to figure out how to just be healthy and know what health looks like. And it wasn't for me about becoming thin. That would have been great, but it was really not having migraines anymore, being healthy and knowing how to cook good, healthy food for myself and my family, and trying to get out a better weight where my energy would just be better. Because really, in order for me to get through a day, running kids around from sports to school to work to all the things, I would have Starbucks multiple times a day just to function. I just needed the caffeine to make it through. So I really just wanted to learn how to be healthy. So that started me on a journey. The first step was, I first decided, I tried a bunch of these different diets and I found a few things that I liked that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep these habits in my life because they're good. One thing that I was always doing was working out pretty consistently. Sometimes it would be short little workouts. There was a few years where I'd work out for a couple hours every day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'd get in a Saturday yoga routine or whatever, but I wasn't losing any weight and I wasn't feeling any better. My body was actually hurting more because I wasn't giving it proper nutrition. I could go without eating most of the day, and then around 3 o'clock I'd be starving. Sometimes 11 o'clock, but usually between 11 and 3, I'd be like so hungry. And so I just fueled myself with really caffeine and sugary things. So it was gonna be quite the shift for me. to be able to learn this whole new way of doing things. So I was on Facebook like most of us do, and I was kind of scrolling and catching up with some old friends, and it's so nice because you can just stay connected with people all around the world, and it's really cool. And a friend of mine, I'd noticed she had a pretty significant physical transformation, and I was like, I wonder what she's doing. And this was kind of when Facebook started shifting a little bit, and people were sharing their life and stuff, but they're also sharing businesses that they were doing or processes, resources that they had found that had really helped them and where they can make money doing it. And so I was kind of getting used to whatever I was about to step into, I was probably gonna have to pay for, and they're probably selling it, which I was kind of okay with. I got to a point where I was pretty desperate. I had tried pills, I had tried diets, I had tried all these different things, and I still was feeling horrible. My migraines were getting worse. So the program that I first found that I really started to learn, because my whole goal was to learn how to be self-sufficient when it comes to my health, to my nutrition, to my hydration, to what I'm putting into my body. I'd never learned that before. Food really was therapy for me. It was an escape for me. I did not see food as nutrition. I did not see food as putting value into my body and my life. I found it as a way to cope with my life. And so that, first of all, was kind of one of the first things I really started learning when it came to my health journey, is I needed a new relationship with food. I needed to define food differently. So doing that, I had to go on a journey to educate myself on what that looked like. And so because I had done a lot of different yo-yo dietings and different things, I had kind of a grid of what I thought was good, but I just didn't want to do another diet again. I wanted to learn. So I reached out to a friend that I had saw, because my first determination was I want to learn. I want to install habits in my life forever, that I don't have to yo-yo diet anymore, that I know how to take care of myself, that I know how to provide good food for my family, good meals for my family, quick, easy, but still healthy and nutritious meals. And honestly, our food has changed so much from when I first started this journey to now. It's pretty incredible in the last, 8 years that it's been for me. So right before I turned 40, I decided that I was going to lose some weight, and I was serious about it. And Brian and I were on a really tight budget. We've always lived on a budget. We've never really had a lot of excess. And so I was like, I needed something different. I was tired of sleeping my day away, canceling on my friends, not being around for my kids' stuff because of these migraines. And I was tired of my body hurting. Even though I'm working out, I'm still feeling horrible. And so I reached out to a friend, and I just said, hey, what are you doing? I want to learn. I want to learn what this is. She had lost significant weight, but more than that, she looked really healthy. She just didn't look like she just lost weight. If you know what I mean, people can lose weight, but they don't look healthy. And she looked really healthy. Her skin was glowing. Her hair was great. She seemed happy. Her energy is like she was doing all these new things and trying all this new stuff. And so I was like, I need to know what this is. And so she would walk me through this process. And the next step that I took was, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this for 1 month. It was going to cost me. And Brian and I talked, and he was like, babe, it's worth investing in yourself and your health. You've been struggling with this since we've been married, since I was 19. And he's like, let's just go for it. Let's just invest and see what happens. And so I told my friend, I said, I'm going to give it 1 month. 1 month, and I want to learn. And what I loved about this program is it came with an educational tool that really teaches you, what does a balanced meal look like? What are the components to good nutrition? And all these things that we should know, that we kind of know. Now we know it so much more, because we have so many resources and education available to us for free. But I just didn't know all that stuff. And then it came with a coach that walked with me along the way, that really showed me, hey, here's where you're winning. Here's where maybe you can tighten up some things. I understood what coaching was. I had coaches most of my life, looking at my blind spots when it comes to my batting, or when I was doing soccer, my form for volleyball. Like, I was used to having someone coach me in my life. And so I was like, a coach, that sounds great. I can understand that. And then it came with a community of people, which that was a little new for me, to be honest. I have always done my health journey so privately, and not because I was ashamed of anything, but I just didn't know any different. And I think there were some elements of growth that I need to have, where I did feel a little bit ashamed of my journey, because I'm like trying to be healthy and active and fun, but there's nothing changing in my body. And I like to be encouraging to people, but I wasn't seeing that in myself. And so part of my journey being in a community felt a little bit scary to me, just because I had never really shared so transparently my whole journey, and even just some of the traumas that brought me to carrying weight. Because like I said, food was a coping mechanism for me. Food was comfort for me. Food was not nutrition. Food was not fueling my body. Food was not giving me what I needed to function for the day. It was helping me deal with my emotions, my stress, my trauma, my whatever. And so having a community around me, I was like, that's going to be crazy to have these people in my life and say stuff totally different than what I thought it was going to be. And then they provide a nutrition plan. Here's what you're going to eat, and here's how it's going to go. And you're going to start with these, and then you're going to gradually learn how to cook and prepare balanced, good meals for yourself. So it was everything that I wanted. I was like, okay, so I'm not only going to be able to eat this food, they call them fuelings, that's provided for me, that I pay for, that's going to help me get into this fat burning state to get healthy, but then I'm going to learn how to make these good meals. And I'd already been doing research stuff already. I'd learned some really good smoothie recipes throughout the years. Because I was a vegetarian for a while, I learned a few really good like plant-based meals to make when I didn't want like a heavy meat day or whatever, and just some good ways to supplement to get some of the garbage out of my life and everything. So anyway, so I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it 1 month, and then we'll see how it's going to go. And really, my mind, I had between 1 and 3 months would be my goal, because I know it takes, 90 days. We're told it takes 90 days to form a habit. And so I was like, I'm going to give it 90 days, but I'm just going to say 1 month at a time. So I started this program. It's called Optavia. I love it. I still utilize it. As I go into the weeks ahead, when I talk about my nutrition plan, very similar to what I've learned on Optavia, I'll be utilizing a lot of the resources, just so you know that, because it's phenomenal. But I started the program. My coach met me that first week. Every day we were connected. This was cool for me, because I'm like someone in my corner I can be honest with, and the good and the bad. And so going through this program, my goal was by the time I turned 40 that I wanted to be down 50 pounds. And so we started this process. Right before my 40th birthday, I think it was right before, maybe right after, I was down like 68 pounds in a matter of 5.5 months, I think is what it was. Sometimes I get my time frames off, but very quickly, my first month, I lost 18 pounds in my first month of just fat. But the thing that was great for me is I didn't have migraines anymore. It's like my body reset, and my migraines were gone. My energy levels were through the roof. And I naturally had a lot of good energy already. Brian used to call me the Energizer Bunny, because I just get up in the morning and go, 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 go. And I kind of am still that way. I've learned to rest more, because that's very important in your health. But generally, that's just the way that I've been. So being on this process, I learned some habits, and we talk a lot about habit installation. What is the point if we're not installing these habits into our life that they become second nature for us? And that's what we do it's just natural. And so one thing that I learned that I was missing was water. I drank water, but I didn't drink water. I was very typical, 8 ounces, maybe 16 ounces a day, when really your body needs 64 ounces plus a day, because you're wasting 2 liters of water just sweating, breathing, urinating. So we're not even replenishing what our body's just naturally losing in our everyday life. So water, that was the first thing I learned. And I started drinking water like a crazy person and peeing all the time. I didn't care, because I felt great. My skin was great. My hair was growing. It was awesome. And so that was the first habit thing that I learned, and that has stuck with me all these years later. 2017, I think, is when I started the journey. And so since then, water is that's my main drink every day. I have my water bottle right here. See, it goes everywhere with me. Speaking of water, I'll do a thing on water later, but I also bought a hydrogen water bottle. That's pretty awesome too. But anyway, so water. So I learned these habit installations for myself. I got the weight off. I was feeling great. I was looking great. I wanted to look good for some of my kids' weddings, and 2 of my boys were getting married, years apart, but that kept me kind of moving forward. And I was in a really good rhythm and routine, and I just learned a lot. I learned how to cook really great food. I mean, most of the time when I first started my journey, I was making a separate meal for myself than my family. But because what I was making looked so good and tasted and smelled so good, my family would rather have what I was making for myself than what I was making for them. And I wasn't off a lot, but there's just extra things I'd add for them that we don't really need. So I just really learned how to cook for 7 people. I learned how to cook good quality food pretty consistently. I was in a great rhythm. I'm a person that loves structure, and I was in a really good structure and a really good rhythm. And so I was just seeing the weight come off, And it was like it just melted right off. That's why I love Optavia. I love the programs that they've set up, and they've even come out with some newer ones that are awesome. I still coach for them. It's one of my favorite things to do because I found such life in this process. And the goal really is to give you control. It's not stay on my feelings forever, take these forever, which a lot of the things I was doing was like that. Take this drink, take this pill, go to this thing. It was like always, I'm going to be subscribing to these things forever. And I didn't necessarily want to spend money on all that all the time. I wanted the freedom to do that. So it really was giving you control. You are in control of your journey. You are in control of your nutrition. You are in control of your hydration. Whatever you put in your mouth, you choose to put that in your mouth. It gave back control, and you can learn along the way how to continue to take good care of yourself. So that's kind of my journey of where I started and where I got to. And then coming up into 2024, my body started shifting. And I did a video about this not too long ago, just talking about kind of being MIA on this channel and really in life. I started going through perimenopause, and do your hormones play a huge role in your life and process? I didn't know that. You know, I'm not a medical professional. I'm learning things because I need to and I want to. And so I started this whole journey. I noticed like my energy levels were kind of dropping. I was having crazy cravings. I mean, I hadn't cravings in years. I just stayed on a normal routine. I ate 6 small meals throughout the day, drank lots of water, had coffee on occasion as a treat for myself, didn't do a lot of sugar. And not because I had to avoid it, but I just felt so good. I didn't desire these things anymore. Like my body was just in a really great rhythm. Every 3 hours, my body was ready to eat, and I would eat something nutritious and good. Fruit, cheese, whatever, a good meal, one of my fuelings. It was a beautiful rhythm to be in, and my body just kept doing great. And so, but when I started perimenopause, everything began to shift. I had these cravings that were out of control. I'm like, my appetite was insane. I could go and eat like nonstop for a day or not want to eat for days. Like my weight started going up and down, my moods, my emotions, I was just spiraling. And I knew I was probably getting close to that stage. You know, I'm going to be, in a few years, I'll be 50. And so I'm like, I'm probably getting close to that time frame. And so I started looking at that, but I didn't want to just take a pill. I love natural things and a natural process, and I like to be in control and know what I'm putting in my body because I've learned that over the years. I'm totally for medication if it is needed, 100%. But if I can find a natural way to do that, I want to. And that just seemed to be a little bit harder to do when I was looking for supplements for myself in this process. So it was like a year of pretty hard crazy for me. I mean, I felt so sad for my family, lots of ups and downs and lots of things. But the big thing was I started gaining back this weight that I'd kept off for years. I'd never kept my weight off for years. I would keep it off I would hit my goal weight and I'd keep it off for a few months and then gradually start gaining. But I'd been in this journey and I hadn't gained weight. I stayed very stable. I was actually still losing weight because I wasn't at my goal weight yet. And so I was gradually still losing weight and doing good until I hit perimenopause, and then everything just began to shift for me. And so starting to gain that weight, that was so discouraging. And I've learned along the way as I've coached my clients and as I've been coached, you know, we never arrive in our health. We just don't. Our bodies change, our environments change, our situations change. And we have to learn how to adapt to those things to continue to have the body and the lifestyle that we want to have. And my goal was to be healthy. I want to live for a long time. My parents didn't get to see me grow into being an adult woman and seeing all my children. And I want my kids and my grandkids to know who I am. And that means I need to take care of myself, which also as a mom was hard to learn when I was a younger mom, even with middle school, teenage kids, so hard to learn that I have to take care of myself. And I thought that I was, but really I was just doing what was trendy at the time and I wasn't learning anything. So this program had taught me how to learn how to install habits in my life. And so now that I started gaining all this weight back because my body was shifting, the discouragement set in, the frustration set in, and it took me a while really to get refocused. Oh, my puppy's down here and I accidentally stepped on her ear. Sorry, baby. To get refocused on my health again because I just didn't have the mental, emotional capacity to do that. So I finally found some supplements that started working and stabilizing out everything so where I could actually focus on my health and the weight that I was gaining. And I had some medical things come up that was causing weight gain, and kind of my plumb line through this season had been my weight. I've never been hyper focused on it, but I know that if I get a healthy waistline, then everything else is going to start to line up in my body. And so that became a focus for me. And it still is a plumb line that I go back to. If my weight is all over the place, I'm missing something, because I've learned when my body is optimal, it wants to lose the weight. I never thought that was possible. It wants water. It wants good nutrition. My body does not want sugar like it used to. And so I had to just go through this whole journey again, now being in this perimenopause state, how to get healthy. So I'm kind of back at it. I'm back at, I want to get some more weight off of my body. My youngest son is going to be getting married this summer, and I want to look great and feel great for that, which is why I started this 6-month transformation that I talked about in one of my other videos. And so I wanted to share my story with you. One, just so you know a little bit about me and who I am, and that my process and my journey hasn't been easy. It still isn't easy. I'm still figuring out. I'm still learning to cut sugars out. Little bad habits creep back in. You do like to go back to what feels comfortable, and sugar's always been comfortable for me. And so I have to kind of go back and work through some of that again. Things that never changed was hydration. I just drink a lot of water now. I feel better when I do it. Good quality nutrition. If I'm putting something into my body, I prefer not to put fried garbage food in my body. I try to do things. I'm not perfect at it. And going through the menopause stage and these crazy cravings, I kind of ate what I wanted because my emotions, I couldn't manage not doing that. So, you know, I'm back to really going back to the basics when it comes to my health and nutrition, going back to what I know works. There are foundations, and I'll talk about that in some weeks ahead, but nutrition plan, foundations of nutrition, the things that I've learned, and how I can get back to that place. And then in coaching my clients still, you know, it was a hard, mentally and emotionally, it was hard for me to coach clients when I was struggling in my own body and my own nutrition and my own hydration, because my hormones were all over the place. And so I really had to do some mental work to get back to this place of saying, actually, I'm on a journey too. And it's okay to be in a process and to help people in a process. I can still be on a journey and still coach people on a journey. I don't have to have arrived. And so there's a quote I love. I can't remember at the moment, but it's something like, you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm trying to become, a masterpiece, but I'm also a work in progress. And that's health. That's a health journey. So I found a lot of freedom in my health journey because, one, my mentality began to shift. I began to think differently about food. It is to fuel my body. It is not to comfort me. And so that's been a huge shift. And I can go back to those stresses, and when I start to feel that way, remind myself, I need hydration. I need water. I function better with water. I need a good routine. I have supplements I have to take. They make my body feel better. I function better. And so it's been a process for me to get there. This next 6 months, my goal is I want to lose 50 pounds. Ideally 75 would be great. I know that I can do it on Optavia because I've done 68 pounds before. And I haven't gained all my weight back from my original weight loss journey years ago. I've gained about 25 pounds back. So it'd be getting off that extra 25 pounds, but then going back to where I wanted to be, working on those goals that I never completed as I hit menopause in life and all the things. And so, but really just to look good and feel good for my son's wedding. And so it's going to be a process for me, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with coaching people while I'm in a process. And I'm okay with being coached while I'm in a process. Community matters. And I learned that a lot in this journey, is that really it's the community that helps you stay focused, that you can go back to, that's understanding and kind and caring. And so really my journey isn't over. It's kind of beginning. It's beginning again with a new mind, new lifestyle, new challenges in my health. And I still have some medical things going on that I'm working through. And, you know, this is all going to be new. I'm aging. And so I'm learning how to take care of my body as I'm getting older and what it needs. So really my journey from when I started to where I am, I've learned about hydration. I've learned about nutrition. I've learned how to educate myself. I've learned some nutrition programs that are incredible, and I'm not tied to any one. I love Optavia because it's worked well for me. It teaches you and educates you and gives you control. So that's my go-to whenever I need a plumb line to come back to. Because sometimes we just need to get back to the basics. We all, you know, even when you work out, you start to work out and then you kind of get off and you got to come back to the basics. And I think Optavia helps me get back to the basics on a lot of things. But I've learned a lot because I follow a lot of health and wellness professionals that I've just learned a lot from. And so really this journey I'm excited about, this next phase of my health journey, because I'm going in with a different mindset. I'm going in with a different level of knowledge. I'm going in with a different level of drive and understanding. It's not just to look good and feel good for a wedding, but it's for me to know how to navigate this body of mine as it's changing. And I'm going into it wanting to be pave a way for other people to know that they can do it too in the hard places. So it's not going to be easy, and I know that, but because of what I've already experienced, my history has told me this is doable. I can make this happen because I have the skill set. I have the community. I've got the coach. I've got the skill set. I've got what I need to be successful in this. And I'm willing to grow and learn and continue to educate myself. So that's kind of my health journey and where I'm at and where I'm going. In the weeks ahead, I'm going to talk through some nutrition plans, hydration. I'm also going to be talking through just being accountable. I'm going to do on here, I'm just going to do a monthly check-in of where I'm at on my goals. We'll talk through all that in the weeks ahead. So you're really just going to be along this journey with me. Hopefully it will encourage you. It will inspire you. It'll motivate you. Hopefully you'll encourage me, inspire me, and motivate me on my down days. But we'll really do life together. We'll have an exchange in this process. You kind of watching me through trial and error, success and failures. I mean, you're going to get all of it. You're going to get real, and that's just kind of how it is. So it's not going to be perfect every time, but you're going to get the truth from me on how I'm doing and how things are going and what I'm learning. And so thank you for being along the ride with me. Thank you for letting me share part of my journey. And, I'm super proud of myself because I've grown so much to even just be so transparent with this part. I learned that community matters and we need each other, whether we're in close proximity, whether it's over the internet, a phone call with distance, we still need each other to get through some of these harder times or challenges in our life. And so I'm grateful to have you along this process with me. So be looking out in the weeks ahead as we build life together, what it's going to look like and what my journey is going to look like. That's not going to be all this channel's about. That's just this one. I'm going to be talking through some other things. You're hopefully going to get 2 videos a week from me. And one's going to be all about my health journey and kind of what I'm learning. And one's going to be about goals and 7 areas of greatness. And I'll talk about that later. But thanks for letting me share my health journey with you. Thanks for being on the journey with me. And my heart is that we can build life together. So thanks for being a part of Life Builder, and let's build life together, one healthy habit at a time, one healthy relationship at a time, one healthy moment at a time, even the hard ones. Let's just build life together. All right, friends, have an awesome day. I can't wait to talk with you again.